This is Matt Chapman, and you're listening to Missin Curfew.
Welcome back to a fresh new episode of Missin Curfew Up Dog.
Big fella, spring training camp edition today.
The weather's getting nice.
The weather's nice out there.
Your blue
today.
light is ice cold.
It sure is.
It's just,
and we're decked out in Blue Jays gear.
we are decked out, ready. It's our year, as they say every year. It's our fucking year. Come on,
it's our year.
Okay,
fellas.
Blue Jays.
Canada, it's our year, boys.
Yeah, like you said, we got Matt Chapman coming on, and Up Dog. Obviously it's hockey for us first and foremost, but we've tried to. Make it some other stuff, and we love baseball. We know Chappy, so it's gonna be fun breaking it down.
Yeah, I think our listeners like to mix it up a little bit. They're all baseball beauties anyway. Most of the boys chew the Canadips and the lip boomers and drink the Labatt Blues lights. And today's a good day. Today's a good day. Sun's shining in Cali. It's nice here. I feel like grabbing a baseball and a fucking glove and going and take some more hacks with you.
Should we get Binger back out there? Or
I think so. Go Binger. Come on.
We should get a bigger bat this time. Our bat was too small, by the way.
I'm going to blame it on the bat.
Let's blame it on the bat. I'm going to blame it on that you took too many fucking warm-up swings in the fucking cage.
I was feeling it.
Couldn't get you out of there. At one point I was like, Uppy, you like that stuff? Like, no, I'm just gonna give you a few more, like 15 more swings. I'm like, so Up Dog, for me, this is a thrill. Me and Loops and yourself, but mainly me and Loops are big time diehard Jays fans. It's the only team I can really cheer for. Like, we played lucky enough to play in the NHL.
Yeah.
I don't have a football team. I don't care about the NBA. It's fucking Blue Jays baseball.
It's Blue Jays baseball. Listen, you more excited for this or when we had Dougie Gilmore on?
Great question.
I don't know. You've been jittery. You've been not jittery. You've been all giddy. Giddy all day, but
I was more nervous for Dougie.
Yeah.
Matt Chappy, Dougie's a legend. Chappy, I'm more excited for.
I think Dougie'd even fucking be nervous to interviewing Matt Chapman here coming up.
I got the Chappy jersey on that the big guy got me. You got the Jays. I'm a fan of his. I love the way he plays the game. I love his defense. I love the way he takes pitches. He plays hard every day. He's a throwback.
That's I like it because he's a pro.
Yeah.
He works out hard. Like diving into this with him. I want to share working out at this BSTI Boris Sports Training Institute. My whole career here, 10 years in Newport. I see the way these guys train. I see the way they prepare. This kid's been a pro since he, came out of high school with one thing on his mind: playing in the pros, playing in the bigs, hitting balls, being Gold Glove winning third baseman. And it's nice that he's playing for our Jays.
Yeah. You know what we should do? This just clicked in my head. We should go to the Rogers Center, the SkyDome, aka the SkyDome, and take batting practice.
Fuck, he can dial it in,
for sure. We did it. Me and Richardson did it back in the day with JP Bichardi.
Max and Binger are just fucking licking their chops
Chappy,
right now. Please, God.
Yeah, we'd have to go in. We'd have to go in early, like in the morning. But we could take BP at the Dome. Chappy could hook it up for sure. And you would 100% hit one out of the SkyDome. It would be because once you see the difference between hitting at the SkyDome with Jay Serra,
really?
Buddy, with the dome closed, it's like hitting your driver. You're gonna launch him out of there.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah. Fellow tour, batting practice.
I might get a contract out of this. Here we go.
You might. So, anyways, we got Matt Chapman coming at you,
Chappy
fella. Welcome back to Missin Curfew, Up Dog.
Fella.
Well, it's at that time of year, buddy.
Baseball season, baby.
The blue lights are cold. The jerseys are out. It stopped raining. It's time, buddy. It's time for some
get
fucking
the calluses
baseball.
ready on the hands. Start swinging.
I got my jersey on of my favorite Blue Jay right now, and our boy, Matt Chapman. Chappy, thank you for taking the time and joining us, fella.
I love it. Thanks for having me. Sun shining, Blue Jays baseball. I mean, beer. What's better?
Oh, it's that time of year.
He's got a good tan too. Is that what happens when you go to spring training?
Yeah.
Work on the tan, hit some balls, get the feel going.
It's exactly what happens.
Work on your tan, take a few swings, just it's nice. It's nice when you played a few years and you don't have to go on all the long road trips, get a little bit more beach time.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, Chappy, we got to say what's up for our girl Sammy here at Hall Pass. She went to El Toro. She was a Charger just like you. So she says what's up, fella.
That's awesome.
What do they
I think you cut out at the end there.
Yeah, no, you said that she wanted to say what up. And she's badass. She's a great girl. She runs the show here. But what are they putting in the water there? I mean, at that high school. Sammy's badass. You got you and Arenado. I mean, what are they serving up there? Protein shakes at lunch or what?
I guess so. They got a good thing. They're pumping them out over there. That's
good. Between you and the SoCal crew here, I guess a little intro for myself is we worked out together for the lockout in 2012. I was always a Boris guy, so throwing the weights around with you baseball guys. I mean, it's much different working out as a hockey guy than these guys.
Big time.
These guys are like sitting there 80s for the ladies and 90s hundies. I'm like, but I'm just going to stick to this quick feet drill over here.
Yeah, the hockey guys got better cardio though.
It's totally
Much
right.
better cardio.
That same year that was a lockout, me and Loops were working up in somewhere in Newport, and what's the big right-handed here that played for the Angels, went to the Orioles? Trumbo and a few of the Angels came in, and same thing. They were just throwing everything around, and we're like doing ladder drills and fucking squats. I'm like, Loops, man, we're in the wrong sport. Look at these boys. They're just hanging out, making way more money than us. Should play baseball.
I know. Hey, grass is always greener, I guess, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So, Chappy, thanks, buddy. Obviously, we've got to know you through the big guy, and I'm a big fan of the way you play the game. But you said spring training. I got to ask you, as a couple veteran guys here, we hated training camp. As a veteran, you just come in, you don't want to play any exhibition games. And I look at a spring training schedule, it's so long. So you kind of hinted on us, but walk us through as a veteran now, Chappy, what your spring training's all about.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, since COVID and the lockout and all these weird years, this has been the first like real 6-7 week spring training since 2019. And it's long, let me tell you. So the days are long, but I feel like the good thing is we've been really getting after it with the Blue Jays. I mean, we've been getting a lot of stuff done. So a lot of positives, but for me, it's a lot of spring trainings now. It's like my 8th or 9th spring training, something like that. So I'm ready to go. Like you get there, you hit a few balls hard, you check a few boxes. You're like, okay, let's get this thing rolling. I'm ready to play like real games. Like it's hard to get up for those spring training games now.
What group of guys on a baseball squad like have to work the hardest in a spring training? Are they like running the pitchers? Or are they, outfielder? Like who's got the hardest little practice days out of the whole squad?
The infielders are getting screwed. The infielders got to do all the drills, all the bunt defenses, all the first and thirds, all the different defenses with the pitchers. And then the outfielders always just sit on the side and laugh at us. And, I think they're like eating oranges and just drinking Gatorade, living the good life.
You guys are like the power play guys in hockey. There's a lot of touches.
Yeah, you got to get your touches in.
Yeah, you get your touch. You feel it. You're just feeling it.
You hate being a PK guy. So when he's talking about Chappy, in hockey, the PP guys come on, they're always working on the power play. So they're getting their touches. And us dummies, we're on the PK at like 10 in the morning.
Haven't touched a puck
chasing
in 2
them around,
days.
fucking trying to get the puck from. They're just snapping around us. We're like,
we're like
boys.
the fucking outfielders.
Yeah. You were going to ask him the difference between Florida and
yeah, well, just bringing up training camp, right? I had 4 years in Florida, 3 years in Scottsdale. I know you built a house in Scottsdale and redoing one. Take us through like your difference. I mean, this you said is your first full camp in Florida.
For sure.
Kind of quiet in Florida, a little bit different than Scottsdale. But what's so far been the difference? Are you?
Yeah, definitely less distractions in Florida than in Scottsdale. So it's been nice to be out here and just kind of hunker down. And what's nice is being from California, coming out to the beach and getting some more beach time. And then obviously it's a little hard to leave Scottsdale. That's where my home is, and it's a lot more convenient there. All the spring trainings are within like 30 minutes of each other, so it's definitely interesting coming out to Florida and seeing how long some of these road trips are. I feel bad for some of these young guys. They're they're getting there at 6 a.m. and they're not getting back to like 8 or 9 o'clock at night after some of those long bus rides. So they're grinding it out, earning their stripes for sure. But when you're somebody that's been around a little bit, I was joking with the guys that, I didn't even bring gray pants to the spring training. You'll see my gray pants in St. Louis.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Boy, sorry, I left the grays at home here. Good luck out there and wherever you're going.
I'm going to go hit off the machine.
Chappy, don't feel that's a good veteran guy that you feel bad, but you were there, Chap. We've all rode the buses. And I remember one of my last years as a coach, I was a 10-year veteran, and there was 2 exhibition games in Saskatchewan where nobody went. I was like, boys, I guarantee I'm going to this fucking game. Sure enough, come in, O'Brien, Regina. I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
And then it's harder getting up for a hockey game, like for training camp, right? When you got to travel on the bus or plane and play that day.
It's hard, very hard. Because you're so used to your routine, and then it's just like, boom, all of a sudden you go to Regina and fly in and play the day of the game. You're like, what?
Yeah, although I'm sure hitting a triple.
I gotta believe that's tough.
I'm sure hitting a triple down the line and having to run all the way to third without like warming up properly off the bus would be pretty tough, right?
Yeah, definitely. You're like, wow, I think I pulled something for sure.
Wow, I hit that ball really fucking hard. Now I got to run.
Yeah, but Chappy, you guys in baseball, like you guys ride the buses, right? It doesn't matter how good you are, right? You're a first rounder. You come out, you go to A ball, then you got to go to double A ball. Like there's no real quick way to the major leagues for you fellas. Not like this guy, first rounder here, went right to the show.
Straight to the show, just living the good life right there.
Yeah, no, I like my
Damn.
time in the minors. So I was like, I'm going to fuck this up a little bit so I get to play down there and, just get a feel for, just the grind,
Yeah.
It's nice to know the grind.
For sure. I know you're in the major leagues too long and you get a little soft. You gotta go back down and get a little gritty in the minor leagues. But the bus rides for sure, that was something that I had to get used to, because in college we definitely rode buses and stuff, but it wasn't anything too far. And in the minor leagues, you got to get used to having like some 14-hour bus rides and then getting off the bus and playing. And luckily you do it when you're young. Nowadays, I don't know if I could do it.
Dude, I had to go back down to the jungle when I was like 33. I couldn't do it, man. I'm like riding the bus, I'm like, I could do this at 22. It was fine, but at 33, it was a nightmare. So, Chappy, we were talking before we brought you on. You're about to head north to Toronto. It's going to be cold up there, but just your thoughts on the city your first year. Like, obviously, we'll get to what you did on the field, but talk me through when you got to the city and just what you thought of it right away.
Loved it. I know, being a road player, I always loved going to Toronto. It was always so much fun to, be in a different country, be in a new city. And, I always felt like the fans were into it there. So it's probably a little bit of the hockey fans coming out there and, getting wild. But I would say the city's just awesome. They always embrace the team. I feel like they're so excited for Blue Jays baseball, and to be a part of that, I was really excited. Yeah, I feel like coming from Oakland, I really appreciate, now having some, solid fans and a good fan base. It's not a dig at the A's fans by any means, because, those fans are passionate. They've just been through a lot more. But with the Blue Jays, the city of Toronto, I feel like summertime, the weather starts getting good. They open up that roof, Blue Jays baseball. Everybody loves being out there, and we got some renovations to the park, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of people buzzing about the Jays this year.
A little more hitter friendly than the Coliseum in Oakland too, eh? Like you get the old Rogers Center, like that outfield's foul ground at the Coliseum. Like you played the hot corner, obviously. Like that's a lot of foul territory there. When you pop one up, you're like, come on, get in the second row.
Right. Yeah. And taking away a lot of those fly balls that I used to get, you just see so many pissed off guys walking back to the dugout, and then they have to walk like 250 feet back to their dugout, like just walk of shame.
Totally.
That's walking across the
You're just like
field.
Any other field. I got another like couple pitches here, but this one now I got to walk all the way back. Shitty dugout. It's brutal.
Hey, Chappy, speaking to the fans, are you able to tell while you live in Toronto and play there that team is like the national team for Canada? Are you able to feel that kind of vibe? I grew up in Alberta, and like I remember the World Series is, and that was what really got me into baseball at the time. But can you tell, like from fucking BC to Newfoundland, it's Toronto Blue Jay baseball? Can you tell that from like living in the city?
For sure, it's a trip. Most teams have just one little area that unless you're like a Dodgers Yankees kind of team, but with the Blue Jays, you could just tell there's people from literally coast to coast. You have a whole country behind you, and you could tell when, all-star voting, or just when you're meeting different people, they're from a different part of Canada, and they're all huge fans, and the involvement the Blue Jays have all over the country. So it's really cool to have a whole country behind you. And I feel like, it's something that, you start playing well, you got a whole entire country behind you, and you can just feel that energy, especially when we had the playoffs last year. You could just see, how excited the whole country was. So I feel like this team has something that, so unique that no other team really has.
Chappy, I couldn't ask you about Toronto without asking about our old buddy Peter Girges. Now, how long did it take you to meet? When I met Peter, when I met Peter, he was in Vancouver, and I was at this bar. It was like my second week in Vancouver, Chappy. And Peter comes up to me, he goes, "Hey, bro, I'm the key to the city for you." And I'm like, who the fuck is this? I just got traded to the Canucks. Like, you're the key to the city? Anyways, he was the key to the city. I love Peter. How did you meet him, and how long did it take before he kind of was like, "Hey, Chappy, come to the restaurant"?
No doubt. I met him actually when I was a visiting player. PJ set me up at Marble, and pretty much the rest is history. He comes by and he's like, "We're going to do some Peter bombs." And just like, he's just feeding you gross vodka Red Bull shots. And, but he's the trip. He's so much fun. And he's definitely the key to the city. He knows everybody. You go anywhere, that guy knows him. So he's a good guy to know. And Toronto's a real fun city, especially if you want to go out and have some dinners or go have some fun. There's always stuff going on in the summer. So Peter's the man. He's a good guy to know, and I feel like he's always taking good care of us.
Yeah, I love Peter. You nailed it on the head. Those Peter bombs, He loves just burying you with those Peter.
You introduced me to him too. It's funny.
I'm like, I'll take a Peter bomb. Give me one. Chappy, you mentioned the new, I'm going to call it the SkyDome Chappy because that's what it is to me. It's the SkyDome Chaps. All right. So, but the new outfield, it's way more open in the stadium. There's bars there. I think it's going to make it even more of an atmosphere for these drunk Canadians to come out and really have a good time drinking blue lights,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like all the guys are going to want to be out in this. It looks like the real winners are on the stands in these games, man. Like this, all the different party decks, and they're all right on the bullpen. I feel like it's going to just be a huge fan experience. It feels like it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that, it's going to just bring more people to the ballpark. I feel like when you have new things like that, people are going to want to come see the new ballpark, and they're going to see it, and they're going to, fall in love with the new stadium. And I feel like there's going to just be sellouts on sellouts, and where it's going to be a good energy. I feel like the timing's just really right for the Blue Jays right now.
I don't know if you read this today, but from one hot dog connoisseur to another, they got the Poutine dog out there.
I saw the Poutine dog.
I knew you might have saw that. It fucking popped up today. I'm like, they're serving
Poutine
dogs? Yeah,
it's right. It's a Poutine dog right at the dome. I mean, that one though, you'll be running to the toilet for the 7th inning stretch. You're like, well, they should have the Poutine dog.
Trying to hold another beer and you're like just clenching.
You're like, well, boys, I got the Poutine dog for your sake. Good eye though,
yeah, because I was like, I was scrolling at lunch. I'm like, fuck, I'm hungry. Look at this Poutine dog here. The Jays are serving up.
Oh, that's great.
That's good stuff.
Go ahead.
Bomb away. I just wanted to ask about, the start of the season's happened. What's it like walking into the season knowing you got 162 games to play in 85 days? Like you're playing 28 games a month, like that sort of grind. Like, how do you prepare for a season like this?
I don't know. I think we're all just a little crazy because you just have to have a short-term memory for sure, because the games are intense, but you got another one coming. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. If you can always just know that there's another game coming, but it's also when things aren't going good, you're like, you got another one. So you just gotta, that's what helps with the experience, and having good teammates and good coaches. And luckily with the Blue Jays, we got a really good team. So not one guy has to, do it all for us. And I think that that's going to help take the pressure off of, navigating the season. You have to just be able to navigate it. You learn how to, some nights you need to get a lot of rest. Some nights you need to take it easier, or some days at the field, you need to, push a little harder or whatever it is. You got to just learn that throughout the course of the years. I feel like when you're younger, you always just like go. And then August, September rolls around, you can like barely get out of bed. So you kind of got to, be able to learn how to kind of pace yourself a little bit, because it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, that's a great question, Up Dog. And Chappy, you guys play every day, and I know you get to the yard quick, and I want to talk to you about your defensive habits. But like, to me, I felt way better at 7 p.m. at night than I felt at 10 o'clock in the morning when I had to go into the rink and get a skate in, right? We'd have to go in early and get the skate in, the meetings. And I'm like, I wish I was just still in bed right now. My question is, what's the latest you can show up to the yard, right? If you're like, before you get in trouble by the manager, it's a 7 o'clock, 7:05 first pitch. What's the latest I can show up?
Ooh, technically, I guess there's no like written rules, but I would say
you would
the
extend
latest
that.
Somebody would probably show up would be like 3 o'clock.
Okay.
To the field for a 7 o'clock game, 3:30. But for the most part, you look around and guys are there between 1 and 2 p.m. And then, you're there the whole time. So I feel like getting up early at 10 a.m. like that for hockey and having to skate and then come back, because I feel like basketball does that morning shoot around stuff and come back. For baseball, it's like you kind of just you don't have to go in as early, but once you get there, I mean, you're there for the long haul. So you're there from like 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. But I would say if somebody showed up at 5 o'clock, people would be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But then, if they go out and get 4 hits, you're like, well, maybe I should have showed up at 5 o'clock. I've been here for 4 hours and I'm getting no hits.
Yeah.
Guy just comes up with a Starbucks, 5 p.m. He's just ready to rock.
I think Chappy's onto something, right? 7 o'clock starting hockey. We sleep in. We go have a nice steamer and a little sauna, a little hot tub, have lunch at the hotel. Then we go to the rink at 1 o'clock, have our meetings. And then we're there till the game stops. That would be better than me than getting up at 9, going to the rink, coming back, eating, sleeping. You know what I'm saying?
If we were allowed to go on the ice and just, mess around, like they were able to go out there and toss a ball or, do batting practice. Like if we could just go out and shoot pucks at our will, and hang out and eat whatever. I've actually, I went to Baltimore to get hand surgery with Lupo while I was playing in Philly, and we went to God rest his soul. It was Roy Halladay was seeing the hand doctor there too. The Jays were in town to play the Baltimore Orioles. It was just a train ride from Philly, and we go into the training room before, and it was right before the guys went out to play. You guys, and there was like chicken fingers and fucking pizza and fries, and I was like, this is what these boys are crushing right now. This is all time. And you remember the old catcher that was there? He was a bigger boy. I actually, it just came to my head now, but he was like a fucking boo. He had to have been a guy who loved his beers. And he was just crushing chicken fingers. I'm like, this guy's a legend, right? Like fucking, he wasn't playing. He was a backup catcher. I'm going to look it up after because this will be a social clip. And yeah, I can probably look it up. But anyway, like I love that. The boys are just sitting there fucking hanging out eating. I'm like, we could never do that before.
No. Have the spreads gotten a little healthier? Because I do remember from my playing career, Chappy, we would go in big league clubhouses and the spread would be like that. Have they gotten healthier?
They have gotten a little healthier. I feel like they used to not care maybe about his nutrition as much. I even remember when I was like, even before I was in the major leagues, when I was in the minor leagues, like it was totally like that. And even when I was in big league camp, it was like chicken fingers, pizza, whatever, which not pissed about, but you're not feeling that great after 6 months of that. But it's definitely gotten healthier. But you could still, get that when you need it, because there's some days you just need a hot dog or a poutine dog.
Totally.
It's good for your soul, eh? You're like, I went over 5. I need a hot dog today, boys. I'm not having the healthy stuff today.
Yeah, for sure.
Chappy, I want to talk to you about your defense, brother. And like, I watched you play in Oakland a little bit, but obviously when you got to the Blue Jays, I watched you play a lot more. And I noticed the way they talked about you, how early you got to the park, how you're always working on your defense and how much pride you take in it. Was that always the way from day one, or is that something you learned when you became a pro / a big leaguer?
I think it's, I've always had a pretty good work ethic. And I think that, I feel like when I was younger, maybe I wasn't always the best player on the team. And I felt like I had to really work hard to try to, get better and maybe prove myself. And especially in college, when everything was just about trying to earn a job and competing, I feel like, I had to like work really hard, and I wanted to win at, all the competitions so that I could be in the starting lineup. So I had to it kind of developed that way. And then in the minor leagues, obviously it kind of just continues, because now you're trying to make it to the major leagues. And then I made it to the major leagues, and now I'm trying to win another Gold Glove and things like that. So I feel like definitely I had that work ethic, but now I just find different ways to, kind of fuel that motivation, I guess. And obviously making plays for the pitchers and getting free dinners helps.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice motivation there.
Chappy, I always like to ask a guy like yourself, and it's great to have you on because you're in another sport. We usually chat hockey. But is there a guy that you kind of like when you were younger, man, you molded like your habits after, the way you would prepare, the way you would, just treat like kind of off, let's say off ice or off field stuff? Like, was there someone that, as you became a pro, you started to be like, man, this fucking guy's got it figured out. I should kind of take what this guy is and like bring my own thing to it.
For sure. I know when I was younger, I always looked up to, like Derek Jeter. That was somebody that I always loved to watch play. And I felt like the way he carried himself, obviously, was, solid. And then Scott Rowland was somebody who played third base, and Evan Longoria were guys that I looked up to and that I watched in like David Wright. And then obviously getting to play with Nolan, in high school and growing up, I watched the way he played. So I feel like I've taken little bits of that. And then, just the guys that I played with, like when I was younger, and like Trevor Plouffe and some of these guys, the way they carried themselves, I was like, man, I kind of want to be like that, and when I looked, the way they treated the younger guys, and, how, I looked up to them, and, I tried to want to be like those guys for sure.
Evan Longoria was in Tampa when I played there, and there's a chance he did take a run at my ex-girlfriend, but there's a chance he might have got her done. It was the year they went to the World Series, and like we had like one thing I saw her phone, I was like, did that just say Evan Longoria? What the fuck is going on? So I think there's a chance that Evan might have just.
You don't even care.
Well, I was like, he went to the World Series. Yeah. We missed the playoffs. I'm like, fuck, I don't blame you. I probably would too. So
take a couple hacks there, Evan.
Boy, Evan, get in there, fella.
He was on a heater, man.
Yeah, remember that year they went to the World Series? He was like hitting everything. He
couldn't miss.
He was on and off the field. Like, geez, he couldn't miss. But I want to ask you, Chappy, about a guy, Bichette. I love this kid. I love his swag. I wish I had his hair. I love his bat speed.
For sure.
Chappy, I sometimes I don't love his defense, fella. So have you been working with him? I know you took him under your wing a little bit. I guess as a super fan, how's Bichette's defense looking early in camp? Is he getting in the hole nice, Chappy?
Definitely. I would say he has obviously all the tools. I mean, you've seen his athletic ability, the swing, definitely has the swag. You know, everybody wants to be like Bo. I would say, yeah, like you look at his defense. I mean, he's, I'll tell you right now, he beat my ass in defense every single day this year. You know, in spring training, he's been coming in every day, working hard. I don't think he's missed I can probably count on one hand how many ground balls he's missed. He's been dominating me this whole spring training. So all the tools are there for him. I think it's just, you know, it takes a little bit of experience sometimes with slowing the game down in game and being able to, you know, make the plays. And I think that, you know, he's somebody that wants to do well. And sometimes when you want to do really well, you know, it's easy to speed up and try to do things too much or do too hard. So I think for him this year, you're going to see an even better version. And I know he's got all the tools in there. He's got a good arm. He's got good hands. He's athletic. So I think for him, you're going to see him evolve and just continue to get better. It kind of reminds me of Marcus Semien in Oakland. You know, he struggled early in his career defensively, and he turned into a Gold Glover. And I think Bo has the potential to become a Gold Glover for sure.
That's great news. That's great news.
That's great. Yeah, I thought that might make you happy.
That makes you real happy, Chappy. I'm betting you guys. I was going to bet you anyways, but I'm betting you now 100%. I want to. Shortstop's different than third base too, Chappy. Like sometimes maybe it's learning for him not to throw the ball. Right? You go in the hole, you make the play, just eat it. Right? You know, just we'll fight to live another day, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd say with that, I made a lot of throwing errors too earlier in my career. I feel like trying to maybe force it and do things. So one of the things that I learned, I can't exactly remember who told me this, but they always would tell me that, you know, just make a good throw. If he's safe, he's safe. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if, you know, if you rush the throw and make a bad throw, it doesn't matter anyway. So just set your feet, make a good throw. And if he beats it, he's safe, he's safe. You know, it's a hard play anyways, but don't, you know, force the issue and then, you know, throw the ball away and the guy gets another base. So don't make it compound an error right there. So just, you know, that's kind of the biggest thing we've been focusing on is just make the play under control. And if the guy beats it out, he's safe.
That's so funny. Sean O'Donnell, my rookie year, said, don't, you know, if you make a bad pass, don't run out of position and now make another mistake. Yeah. Okay, you made a bad pass, take a breather and dissect the situation. Don't chase the guy.
And then fire drill after that.
Like, so that's kind of the same in different sports, you know?
For sure. But it's hard to do that. Too, you know?
I know.
Chappy, I want to ask you, I just, for some random reason, I'm not a huge baseball guy, but say we're playoff time, right? And like all the pitchers go through, like the coach uses all the fucking pitchers in the bullpen. Who in the lineup would be the pitcher, like on your squad? Like who would say, fucking give me the ball, I'm going in? Like what one of the guys would say? Is that a random question?
No, that's random, but it's a good one.
Would you want the ball or what? Would you say, give me that fucking thing, I'm going?
Give me that fucking rock, this game's over.
Yeah, watch this, boys.
So yeah, last line of defense for sure. I'd go out there, playoff game on the line, let it eat. Probably need elbow surgery after, but fuck.
Yeah, but Chappy, you got a hole. Chappy's got a hose. You could be the guy. You might have to close a couple games, Chappy. We have to bring. Oh no, we got Romero. We're all right.
Yeah, Romano's solid. We got a lot of good bullpen arms this year too. I mean, obviously we've had a lot through the years, but I feel like this team is, you know, really complete, even more so than last year. You know, last year obviously we were solid, but this year I feel like the pieces we brought in and the team chemistry we got going on right now, and everybody's just on the same page, and it's just like a good vibe, good feeling.
So being a super fan again, you brought up the bullpen, Chappy. I got to ask you. So you're feeling a little more confident about the bullpen, a few more guys in there that are bringing because that come playoff time, as you know, that's a big aspect of the squad.
Absolutely. You know, that's throughout the whole season too, it's, you know, you rely heavy on the bullpen and it's hard not to, because, you know, this day and age, if guys get into a jam, they always love to go to the matchups and go to their bullpen early. So I feel like our bullpen is something we always lean on. And, you know, if you want to be a good team, you got to have a good bullpen. But I feel like the guys this year, all the guys that are returning have gotten better, and the guys we've brought in for sure just made us better and more complete. I feel like we have anybody that's going to take the ball out of the bullpen for us this year, we have confidence in for sure.
And if you need an extra bullpen catcher, just fire me a text, Chappy. I think I'd be a good bullpen catcher. Just, you know, throw a lip boomer in, hang out with the boys. That's got to be a good gig.
For sure. The only thing is you got to rub up a lot of baseballs. The bullpen catchers do a lot on the side, but maybe we can get you a gig where you got a couple poutine dogs, a couple lips.
You don't want to bend over that much, so
No,
you don't want to be.
Chappy,
we'll get you a bucket. We'll get you a stool.
Exactly.
Yeah, the stool.
Chappy, I'll flip the bucket over where they keep the balls in. I used to do it when I was a catcher. I'll flip the bucket over, just sit on the bucket, send it right here,
Hit
bud.
me right in the glove, baby.
Chappy, I want to ask you about your opening day starter, the big boy Manoah. I got a soft spot on him because he's a big boy like myself, but I mean,
I had to get his jersey size for you.
Yeah, exactly. But he just has that attitude, and like you heard some of his comments last year about, he would willing to fight if he had to, or this and that. But this, like having him as your ace, you got to feel like he's got your back.
Absolutely. He's the kind of guy that you love to play against. He's going to go out there. He's going to give it everything he's got that day. And I feel like even if he doesn't have his best stuff, he knows how to, find ways to get the job done, finds ways to compete. And he's just got a lot of energy, and sometimes he can't even help himself, like he just talks shit or whatever he does. But, we got his back, and I'm like, hey, sometimes I don't even know if he knows what he's doing. He just blacks out. He's just in the moment. And I'm like, you're going to get me into a fight, but whatever.
I bet on the American League during the All-Star game last year, and they had Manoah mic'd up. I'm like, let the big boy focus on pitching here. Like, he's starting to breathe heavy. Yeah, I'm like, leave him alone.
I think you just got to let those guys do what they do, right? Yeah. If he's going to get you in a fight, at least he's going to fight. There's those guys that are going to get you in fights in hockey, but they're the first guy to jump out of there. He's going in face first. You're like, all right, let's go.
No doubt. Yeah, he's going to be right there. So, I mean, I'll tell you what, last year, there was a funny moment where we were playing the Yankees and he accidentally hit Judge, and obviously Garrett Cole and a lot of their guys got pissed off about it. It was on accident, but he, and then him and Judge, shook hands, but I was right there, and I got Judge and him shaking hands. I've never felt like such a little boy on the field before. It's like this dude, two dudes that are 6'8" and 6'7", 300 pounds. And I'm just standing there dude, I feel like two dads are shaking hands on the mound.
That was the game I was talking about, because I think Manoah chirped Cole after, and Garrett Cole's a big boy. I met him through Updog and PJ. He's a big boy, but Manoah's like, hey, by the way, if you got a problem with it, you know where to find me. I was like, I love this guy.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the right guy to wear the JC.
I love it.
Talk about Vladdy. You talk about swag and talent. The kid's got it all. How's he feeling? He's missed a couple games here, spring training, but he's ready to rock for opening day.
Yeah, he'll be ready to go. And he's just one of those guys too that I feel like when the lights turn on, he's ready to go. He's just uber talented, man. It's crazy. His swing, his strength, his power, super athletic. I forget sometimes that he's 24 years old.
That's wild.
He's already in his, fourth season. And so he's been playing baseball for freaking 4 years already. And he's already, he's only 24, and he's just got crazy talent. So I feel like with what he learned last year, because last year he still had a great season, but if you ask him, I bet you he'd say he could have done better, in certain situations. And thinking of that, just scary. The guy had a bad year, and he hit 270 with 30 something homers. And, I feel like for him, it's not about the swing or anything. It's just mentally, learning how to handle, guys pitching him differently and this and that. So I feel like with him making conscious adjustments this year, just in his approach, he's going to be, a really dangerous hitter.
Yeah, and he makes it fun. You watch him play, he likes coming to the yard, obviously, and he brings a lot of energy. Yeah, I got to ask you about.
Absolutely.
I love when you guys win, obviously, because usually I got money on it and you're my squad. But the ice bucket, he's always rinsing you boys. Is there some days you're like, Vladdy, fuck off. I don't want the ice here today, buddy. I'm going to dinner. I just want to get out of here.
Absolutely. That's why I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to wear soggy cleats again. I gotta throw, I take my shoes off and throw my glove over there. But he loves it, man. So, sometimes you just got to let somebody else, do something good. So they got to get the ice bucket. You're like, I'll pass the baton today.
I mean, he is 24, so he just probably loves to do stuff.
He just rinses the boys. And that poor Hazel May gets rinsed every night too. I'm just like, she's got to go. Her dry cleaning bill's through the roof.
For sure. Poor girl.
Hey, real quick, you talked about cleats. I wanted to ask you about gloves. I think I've done a question about bats, but gloves. Do you have, for me, my gloves or whatever, but for ball players and a guy like you that's so good defensively, do you have one that's just your go-to all year and you just keep her there, keep her ready for first pitch?
Yeah, for sure. So I have a glove that I've used the last 5 years, same
Wow.
glove. I can't get it. I can't get rid of it. No other glove feels the same, and I'm like, I'm pissed because they keep making me all these thick gloves, and I can't use them because I'm just like, damn, like this, like if I make an error with this glove, I'm gonna be pissed off that I'm not wearing my other glove. So it's hard to switch gloves right now, but I'm hoping I find another glove that feels the same, so we'll see.
That's got to be is it a mental thing, or is it just it's so juicy? It just feels just mint.
Yeah, I mean it's probably a mental thing, but also feel.
Yeah. Well, you remember on shoulder pads, one year's Chappy, they changed the shoulder pads from, and I wore small ones to begin with, but you remember when the NHL made us wear a certain cap?
Yeah.
They're like, you got to wear these shoulder pads.
Plastic
I'm like, fuck you. I'm not wearing those shoulder pads. You can take that cap and put it on these little fucking ones I got, but I'm not wearing those big ones that you're making. Like, there's no chance upside.
Yeah, I remember that.
They felt buttery. Buttery.
We had, so Chappy, our equipment back in the day had like plastic covers. So if you caught a guy on the chin back in the day with a plastic cover shoulder pad, it was like hitting cement. But then they made these ones and said everyone wear them. And our trainers at Frosty would be like, here, let me get that.
Yeah.
Which is a question we would lead into with gloves. Like, will your trainer like take that glove and re-sew the leather and make sure there's no little, holes in there?
For
Obviously
sure.
not going to count it. You got to keep that baby
so
tight.
Your guys' trainers mess with your guys' gear too, or or do things if you need.
Yeah.
Same with our trainers. Like, it's weird that apparently being an athletic trainer, you're also like a partial equipment manager. But if I need my like glove re-strung or laced or something, our trainer will do it for us for sure. Or like they need to cut something or mess with it, like I got a guy.
And what's your lifeline? What's your lifeline on a bat that doesn't see the ball well? Are you just tossing that thing in like bat cheese?
I got a short fuse on my bats, but sadly, like I've got a little bit of swing and miss in my game, so I can get pissed at my bats pretty easily. I usually get pissed off at my bats in batting practice more than the game. The game, I'm like, you know what, all right, like, shit happens. But in BP, if I can't hit the ball with that bat, I'm like, no. Like, if I'm really pissed, I'll just hand that bat to the clubby and be like, I don't care where this thing goes, just make sure I never see it again. Like, do whatever you want with this bat, because I'm never going to touch it again. It's worthless.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me.
Yeah, no, it's never our fault. But I love the way you, like, when you're playing, the way you take at bats and take pitches, I love that. But like, when you have a nice bat and it's going well, as long as it dies with a hit, right? If you break a bat with a hit, you can kind of tip your hat and be like, that was a good run, fella. Yeah. Thanks for that. But what if you break it when you don't get a hit, or you're kind of choked?
Yeah, if you break it when you don't get a hit, like usually if you hit it off the end of the bat, you're like, all right. But if you just get absolutely just sawed off and jammed, chances are you're like just running to first base just to run, and you're going to be out, and you're just like, God damn, like this sucks. Your hand hurts. You're jogging to first base. Your ego's a little hurt. You're like, well, damn.
Hey, Chappy.
It sucks if you break a bat that's been a good one. Though.
Yeah.
Like if that one's been a good one, and like then you break it, you're like, man, like
shit.
You got to start a new run.
It's the one that got away.
Yeah, like I always thought that. Like, if
I treated her so good.
Yeah, like you had like 2 good weeks with her. You're like, fuck, what a run. And then she breaks. You're like, no.
She left me.
No.
She text Evan Longoria.
Try to tape the middle.
Yeah. Give it to the trader. Tape that up. See if we can get her back humming. But Chappy, I got a question. This is from me and Loops, our boy Loops, who loves you and loves you in the Jays uni. The home run jacket, fella. We're old school guys. We don't love the home run jacket. Is it still part of the routine? As fans, we'd like to see it go, Chappy. Is it gone?
It's gone.
There you hear
it. New year, new Jays.
Love it, Chappy. Love it.
Yeah. So the Blue Jays are kind of back on their business game this year. A little bit more business. We're still having fun. Don't get me wrong. You got to have fun, but I think you're going to see a little bit more locked in version of us.
Love it.
Speaking of business, you've been a big, in your A's days, you were a MLB PA guy. Now with the Jays, how's the business of baseball? Boys are making tons of cash. And I look at hockey. I think the boys in hockey, they should make more. Yeah. Some guys that are making too much, but all in all, that's good for the sport. The baseball, I mean, the owners are paying. They want to build these teams. They want to win championships. That's good to see. We need hockey owners to step up to the plate and do that. But just mention maybe a little bit about the business side of baseball right now and how that's going for you.
Business is going good. Obviously it's nice to be in the middle of a CBA where we're, locked in for a few more years. you see obviously a lot of huge contracts, guys getting paid. And I think it just goes to show that obviously there's still work to be done. There's always work to be done with the union, but I think that, the guys did a good job, and obviously these owners have a ton of money despite what they say, no matter what sport we're in. I feel like these owners have a ton of money. They just don't want you to think they do. So the baseball owners got a ton of money.
Yeah,
that's true.
Chappy's a free agent after this year too. You let us know next year how the business side of it going after a big year. You're free,
right. I guess I'll check in with you in 6 months. I'll be quoted saying that, and then maybe I'll be like, oh, fuck.
Well, hey, no, listen, they like World Series like champs, right? So you got to just bring the boys to the fucking promised land, and everyone's getting paid.
I'm just excited. I'm excited about this year. Just focus on winning baseball games, and I know that stuff will take care of itself for sure. I think the coolest thing about the Jays right now is we all know that, we might not get an opportunity like this again. Who knows where all these guys could be in years. You only have the same team once in reality, so we know that this year is special and we only got this year. So I feel like we're really going to try and take advantage of it.
I agree. Last question about the team. I want to ask you about your manager, Schneid's. He seems like a great guy, throws chews in beard. Like, just seems like a good guy. Is he just a player's guy? And I'm glad he's getting another opportunity to be their skipper.
Yeah, me too. He's awesome. I think Schneid's is I feel like every day he's getting better. I feel like obviously he started off with, bench coach role and coached some of these guys in the minor leagues that came up through the J system, and they all really liked him. And he's definitely a player's manager. He wants to do well, wants to win, but also understands, how to treat his players. And, there's a lot that goes into being a manager. You got to manage, different kinds of guys and try to figure out how to, get the best out of all his players. And I feel like he's doing a good job of that. I feel like he talks to, me and a lot of the other guys, and he's just trying to learn every day. And I feel like he's just getting better. And I feel like he's going to be a really good manager for a long time.
Couple things on the music, bud. You're a big music guy. You're in charge of the
Definitely.
DJ, right? So what are the boys listening to? Do you have to accommodate to all like the different personalities and all they want, which is the worst job in the league, by the way?
It's a thankless job.
Well said. So what are the boys listening to? And then your walk-up tune, is it something you change up? Question. Are you like, just hit us with that. What's this year's walk-up tune?
So
good question.
So walk-up tune, I'm still thinking about it right now. I'm trying to decide if I want to like go back to something I've done before, or go new, or go old school. Like, I'm like, do I want to go like something new, or like go like Dr. Dre? I don't know, something cool like that. But yeah, I feel like it's funny because I feel like I'm not that old and I'm 29, but like I love music from classical rock to any kind of music. I love all kinds of music, especially like from going to festivals and things like that. But like the guys on my team, especially the younger guys, like they don't like a lot of my music. So I'm always getting fucking chirped about something. I didn't play something. I didn't play Lil Uzi or Lil Baby or something like this, or I didn't play something with Culture, but I'm like, Jimi Hendrix is Culture, what are you talking about? So, so it's a tough job, but I think I'm going to have to, cater. I just cater to the masses now. Every time I play my music, they're like, what is this? I'm playing like Tame Impala or psychedelic rock or something. And they're like, I'm getting roasted. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, you guys maybe need another drink on the plane or something.
Yeah. If anyone roasts you for playing Tame Impala, just chirp them right back, Chappy. Say, come on, figure
so
that.
Hard,
that's
right?
I know, but that's such a good band.
Hard, and you guys got, you got a lot of Latin influence, right? And you're like, okay.
Yeah. I got a Latin playlist for sure.
Yeah, well, totally. Their music's actually
I love Latin music.
They get the girls moving.
Yeah, late night Latin music. They're down in Cabo. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
No, for sure. No, the Latin music for sure.
Chappy,
it's just some of the new rap.
I want to ask you one last thing about, obviously me and Updog, we miss the road a lot. I guess, what's your favorite road city? And maybe what's your favorite park? Are they the same? Or what's your, when you see the schedule and you go Updog on the schedule and start looking, where are you circling?
And where should we meet you?
Well, definitely you guys should meet me up in Toronto. Like, you guys got to come up to Toronto and see the new stadium, right?
Yeah.
Come catch a Jays game. We'll go to Marble. We'll have a time.
100%. I'm there in July. You guys already checked.
We're doing our fella tour in fucking first round of playoffs.
They're not there for the fella tour. You guys start on the road, but I'll be in Toronto July. You got the Diamondbacks at home, a little 3-game set. So you guys will take care of business on the field against the Diamondbacks, and then we'll text Peter and be like, fella,
Okay, well, I got tickets for you guys, no problem. But I would say my favorite place to play is probably Fenway.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I'm going back in time when I play there. It's just like so cool to play in Fenway Park. And then New York's always a fun trip. You know, I feel like everybody always loves going to New York. I don't know, it's just good energy there. Fun city, great food. You can literally there's something to do for anybody, you know. Chicago feels like that too. I love Chicago, love New York. And then I would say looking forward to the Colorado trip. It's always cool to go there. We don't get to go there all the time. And then, you know, going to Anaheim, I'm a little biased. You know, it's always fun to go back home.
Yeah. You're like us. It's hard to narrow it down to one. That's a good answer. You can't narrow it down to one. I should have known that. I should have known that when I asked you. You can't narrow it down to one.
I could have in my head too. I had like three other ones. I can't just keep rattling off city. There's a lot I like.
I will say about Fenway Park though, the way you guys hit there last year, I don't blame you. I loved, and my buddy Shane the franchise Taylor, who the boys met, is a huge Red Sox fan. And last year you guys went in there and just kicked the shit out of him every game. And I would just text him and be like, "Hey, Paul, did you see that game last night? Boys put up fucking 20 on your Red Sox." So Chappy, thank you for that.
Crazy. Yeah. Hey, well, you could thank Guriel and some of those other guys for that one. You know, they just, I mean, I feel like they had drove in like 10 runs each. That was crazy. I would never see a game like that again. I got a question for you guys though about the hockey road. Did you guys have somebody that would get on the microphone on the buses? Did you guys have like mic guys, or was there like players bus, coaches bus, or were you guys all on the same bus?
All in the same
All
bus.
in the same bus.
But there'd be a mic guy every now and then. Usually one of the drunk assistant coaches.
The famous quote for when we were in the minors is our assistant coach would get on the bus and we'd be like, the bus would take off, like, whoa, 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 stop the bus. Like, what happened? We forgot to pack the 2 points. We'd all fucking start cheers and having beers in the back of the bus.
That's awesome.
We're all just on the back, like just coughing, opening our beers like this, like just, you know, and then, you know, just
not in the minors. The minors we were hiding shit. We're like, here, give me another fucking 12 pack.
So what do the boys in baseball? You guys get your own buses?
Like there's a player's bus and a coach's bus.
What?
Like
wow,
to and from the plane, to and from the games, like always?
Everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, everywhere, yeah.
Could you imagine this guy with a players only bus? Holy fuck, Chappy.
I'd be giving the bussy hundreds of like, just take us here, bud. Here, just.
We would have been late for every game. We would have missed the planes. Can you imagine that? Crazy.
No, I couldn't.
But it's always easier walking, you know, on a bus just with your boys after you get shit kicked, if that's the case, rather than walking past your manager who's just red faced and like ready to, you know, chirp everyone.
Yeah.
I hated that.
They just look at you like, we tried to
come on,
we tried to lose. All right, get the fuck out of the way. I'm going the back of the bus here, but Chappy, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Stay healthy, have fun. Can't wait to watch you play, buddy. The boys are pulling for you. You're a beauty. Go get them, fella.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. That was awesome.